love this little mouse. Look at her. Okay, so tell me about this piece.
I don't know. Maybe this one is the colors. Maybe I'll like it when it's finished. I don't know. Something about it just
You don't have to like it.
gives me... I think it might be a color thing, because if there were different colors, maybe more pinks and it was a little more pastel-y, then maybe I would find it cuter, but right now it's like not cute enough to me to be like a Disney thing.
Yeah.
I also don't know where this would be. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I don't know where this would go either. Maybe into a pillow. I'm not sure. This is a project I started this spring. Let me pull up the notes here. This is another kit that I had. So this was a kit from Designs for the Needle. I'm using an 18-count mint Ada that I had in stash. So not the kit fabric, but all the kit flosses. And I started that this year on March 26, 2025. And so far on this project, I am 65.32%. So I really only have a couple more flowers to go here, finish the watering can, and then the second mouse that goes over here. So I started this in the spring when I was feeling springy and just wanted something kind of easy and nice to work on. And there's a lot of block stitching in this that has made it really fun. I also really like the old school back stitching of this piece where every little section is back stitched around what you're stitching. Even the whole watering can is like back stitched around the edges and things. So yeah, that is Garden Surprise. But I totally also get why this is lower on the list.
I mean, we have a little traumatized too because I hate rodents, and we have a little rodent problem.
We do. We have a rat problem in our like backyard area in the city, but let me tell you, the rats look nothing like this, and I've never seen one in a cute little puffy shoulder dress like this. So these are definitely cuter, but yeah, okay. So that is Garden Surprise. So do we have more fives?
Yes,
or
we do.
Okay, what's next?
Heirloom Bear.
Heirloom Bear. Okay, that is my needlepoint project. I have that handy because I was working on it a little bit last night. So this is from Busilla and Heirloom Bear. That's what it's going to look like. And let me show you where I'm at. So I just have this sort of top corner completed. So tell me about this one.
This one, again, I don't know where it goes. I guess I could see it in like a little boys' room, maybe in the 90s or the 80s, but it's not. I wish it was giving a little more like Ralph Lauren vibes, but it's not quite there for me. And it's funny when you said we were talking about it last night, and you said, I don't think I could hang this up anywhere. I was thinking, oh, thank God.
Yeah, because I was saying, like, it's just so big. Like, I don't know that this will get framed and hung on my wall somewhere. And so we were talking about, like, what could we do with it? And I said, like, I don't think I could hang it up. So I guess he was really...
Yeah.
But I did say, I'd be curious if it's possible to turn this into, like, a big pillow of some sort. I think that could be kind of cute. It's my first project in needlepoint, so I'm still sort of learning how it all goes, learning how to follow the pattern, but I am enjoying it, so it's a fun process. Since the last time we saw it, I think I added some of these darker stitches in here and got to like sort of the top of the bear, and I filled in this line right here. That's what I worked on last, but yeah, that's Heirloom Bear. I think that's all I have to say. Oh, I can find out let's see when I started that one. So, Heirloom Bear, it's a 12-point canvas. I'm using all of the yarn that came in the kit, and I started it on February 7th, 2025, so this year. Okay. What else? Any more fives?
Yes.
Okay.
The Bee Queen.
The Bee Queen is a 5. Okay. I'll pop a picture picture in here of what the Bee Queen is going to look like. This is from Tiny Modernist. And I've got a good chunk done because I worked on this a lot when I was at my parents' house in Florida over the spring. So let's see it. So here is my progress on Bee Queen. So I think I've just got, obviously I have to complete the rest of her dress down to here, and then these motifs continue all the way down, and sort of there are some at the bottom here, but everything from here up is completed, including all the back stitching. Okay, so talk to me about this one.
She makes me kind of mad.
She makes you mad? Why?
Yeah, because to me, she's neither here nor there. I know you love a fancy lady, but she's not fancy enough for me she doesn't have as much of an impact as the fancy ladies.
Okay.
And so she's just kind of like I don't know who she is. This lady.
To me, she was giving Queen Charlotte vibes.
Yes. So
I think that's why I enjoyed stitching on her so much.
I could see that. But I think it's one of those pieces that I would not pick for myself, and I don't know where it would go either. I can't place it anywhere, and yeah, it just doesn't excite me.
Yeah. Do you think it's the colors somewhat, or it's not necessarily the colors of the piece?
No, I like the colors of the piece, and I like the flowers and everything, but I just don't know. She just doesn't excite me.
Well, lucky for you, she is a series. So there are other ones, including a Christmas Queen that's basically in the exact same design and shape as this one that I've got for someday. So there'll be more queens coming.
Lovely.
No, that makes sense. So the Bee Queen, let's pull up the stats on this one. So, like I said, this is from Tiny Modernist. I'm stitching this on an 16 count Oyster Ada, and I'm using all the called for DMC. And I started this May 25th of 2024. And I actually started this when we went on our little vacation to upstate New York, to the little cabin. So for me, it's always a fun reminder of that trip as well. But little did I know this would be a 5 when I started this project.
Yeah, she just does not excite me in the least.
So that's her. And I am stitching her from the paper pattern, so I don't have statistics of where percentage-wise, but I'm getting close. Okay, next 5.
Okay.
How many more 5s do we have?
No, that's it.
Oh. So we're done with the 5s.
Now we move on to the 4s.
Okay, so 4s are, he likes them, I guess, a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
They're not his least favorite category, but still maybe not exciting. Okay, so what's the first 4?
Festive Frosted Pumpkin.
Festive Frosted Pumpkin. Okay, this is a piece from, I also don't have this on my iPad, so I'll put a picture in here of what it's going to look like. This is from the Witchy Stitcher, and it's kind of a hybrid haunted house / Christmas / Halloween vibe. And here is where I'm at.
7, 8.
So I made really good progress on this year, and I think I've only got a little bit left of the house here. It might end about here. So I've got some motifs down here. There's like a pumpkin snowman. There's a Christmas tree here. Some other designs bringing the tree down. But for the most part, I'm pretty well. Yeah, I'm pretty close. On this one, I am 64.38%. And yeah, okay. So talk to me about this. Why is this important?
Because like the Bee Queen, it's neither here nor there.
But what is that?
It's Halloween and Christmas, and I don't like the integration of the two. I think it looks really good on this green. I think it's a fun Halloween piece, but then the fact that it's also kind of Christmassy is what bugs me about it, because I would want this to be put away November 1st. So
And I will want this video all the way
and
through Christmas.
it could not mingle with the Christmas decorations.
That's funny. So there is a version of this pattern that is not festive, that is only Halloween, and it's just called Frosted Pumpkin Cottage. And I think there is still snow in that version. Maybe there's not snow. I can't remember. But she has two versions. She has like the original Halloween one, and then she has sort of Christmas one. So I chose the Christmas one, but clearly I guess I should have chosen the just Halloween piece. But yeah, that makes sense. If you don't want to combine the two holidays, this is not the piece for you. But if you like to sort of have Halloween linger into the Christmas months, then this might be.
But why?
Well, if you lived in a haunted house and you wanted to decorate it for Christmas, but you
you
still
want to
know
live in a
how.
haunted house?
Well, no, but the vibe of a haunted house, yes.
I don't know about that. Well, then you could do like the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future if you want ghosts at Christmas time.
True.
I don't think, yeah. Like Mariah Carey says, November 1st, it's time. So, once Halloween is over, for me, it's over, and I move on. And also, I have to make space for Thanksgiving, so there's
True.
a whole holiday in between the two.
This definitely doesn't have any Thanksgiving vibes, but maybe it'll just be allowed to be up for the month of October, and I'll dream about Christmas that's coming, and that'll be enough. So, as far as stats on this one, so this is an 18 count. It's called Witch's Brew, and that's by Oblong Meow. They are on Etsy. They have an Etsy shop where they dye their own fabric. They have amazing, amazing options on there. So if you haven't checked them out, please do. That's Oblong Meow. And I bought this last year on October 7th, 2024. So maybe I'll finish this Halloween season. I'm not sure. We'll see. But that is Festive Frosted Pumpkin Cottage by the Witchy Stitcher. Okay, next four.
The Egyptian Sampler.
Alright, I was just working on this one. This is from Teresa Wensler. It's my first Teresa Wensler. And I'll try to put a picture in here of what the final image is going to look like because I'm stitching this from the paper pattern. I have a lot done, but it doesn't look like much, so you're not going to get a really good idea of what the piece looks like just from this. But here is where I'm at. You just saw this in my latest video because I was working on this top border here with all these sort of small diamond eyelets at the top. And but again, I'll have to put a picture up here of what this one is going to look like. So we'll talk more about this one.
Well, like Cindy's one, which is our roommate.
Cindy's our roommate, yeah.
This piece is whack.
So we were downstairs talking about kind of filming this video, and was I stitching on the piece at the time? I may have been stitching on it. That's how I had it down there. And I showed it to her, and then I showed her what the final piece was going to look like, and she was like, "That piece is whack." So I guess you agree.
I agree. I think the details are amazing, and all the different stitches that you're doing on it are really cool. But as a whole, I would never choose this one. It's very busy to me, and it kind of reminds me of like a children's textbook. Like if you're reading about the history of Egypt,
Yeah, I
it would
can kinda
be
see
like
that.
Yeah, a social studies book or something. That would be the book.
I always liked those pictures.
That just bores me to tears.
Yeah, those pictures are always kind of fun to me. I remember those in the it's definitely a weird piece. It's very busy. It's got all these Egyptian motifs all over the piece. And, yeah. That's really
It just doesn't speak to me. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Or it speaks social studies.
Yeah. Social studies. That's funny. Okay, so Egyptian Sampler. This is done in a 28 count white even weave. This was a full kit that I got, so I'm using all the kit materials. This I started on November 14th, 2024, and yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Egyptian Sampler. 4 it is.
Sorry, Teresa. It was just huge.
She's very popular, but
I'm curious to
probably,
see her other patterns.
yeah, probably not for this piece. I don't see many people stitching Egyptian sampler. Everybody sort of gravitates towards her dragon pieces,
Okay.
which I do really like as well, but this is the one that I chose to start. Okay, still more forward.
Mm-hmm. Gaia.
She's in a scroll frame, so let me grab her real quick. Pop a picture in the meantime of what she's going to look like. And here is what she looks like so far. So I've got a good portion of the bottom half of this piece done. I think the last thing I worked on was this bird. I worked on that in May for my mania. And yeah, okay, so talk to me about Gaia.
So the fancy ladies are not my
Fair enough.
I like the mermaids. Because there's something sort of 1950s about them and the way that in their design and the sort of haircut, hairstyles, and everything.
You're talking about the
old-
seasonal
yes, the
mermaids
seasonal
that I
mermaids, yes.
have completed already.
But this one, I don't know what time she's from, and I don't know what time she belongs in.
She's timeless.
And I don't know, there's just something sort of cheesy about the fancy ladies for me, so they're not my thing.
That's fair. They're definitely my thing. So I've got so many of them kitted. I want to stitch so many more of them. So these will probably hang, I guess, in just my space so that he doesn't have to see them. But yeah, so that's Gaia. Sorry, Kat, if you're watching, because we started this together for her birthday. I thought Gaia would be higher too. Yeah, so that's Gaia the Earth Goddess. I am on her. I'm about 46.2% of the way. That doesn't include all the back stitching though, so there might be a little bit more. And I am stitching her. Sorry, let me just find the information. This is by Bella Filipina. I'm stitching it on a 32 count Spring Showers by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. And I started this last year on May 2nd, 2024. So I'm excited to get back to this one. She's so much fun to stitch. There's just so many lovely parts. She's got so much Kreinik in her dress there. All of the empty spots are going to be beads, so she's probably going to be very blingy when she's done. And I'm just getting up to the part where I will be able to move my scroll frame and get some more progress in at the top. I'm also really happy how she's laying on this fabric where the green is sort of at the bottom, and I like where the blue is hitting the top of her dress, because then the rest of it will be up here in this little gray blue and this Scottish pink part of the fabric. So that is Gaia. Okay, what do we got next? Probably another fancy lady, huh?
Woodland Enchantress.
Woodland Enchantress. Okay, that is from Dimensions, another one of my Dimensions kits, and here is where I am so far. Sorry, it's a little hard to hold up. So I'm just pull down the bottom. There we go. So that's my progress so far. You can see the trees have come out really, really good in the background. Dimensions kits really just know how to give you dimension. Honestly, they you can really see the depth into the forest. And then I've just started into her hair and herself. So tell me about this.
I love the trees. I think for me, I would love a painting of just trees. So once you put a person in there, it changes it for me, and I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
She's just kind of cheesy.
She's fabulous. Don't let him tell you otherwise.
And it just makes it, I don't know where to put her. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
If
sense.
you gave me a landscape painting, then I could see that somewhere, anywhere really. But
Yeah.
this Woodland Enchantress,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get that. If you're looking at a specifically of like where you could hang it in your house and like where it would fit with your decor, then that totally makes sense. Yeah, this was, what's this one? I think this was the first dimensions kit that I started, and really need to get back to it because I really do enjoy stitching on this. This is all the called for materials. So this is an 18 count light blue, I think they said, or light gray Ada. It's very crunchy. It's very hard. But I'm using all the called for threads, and I am stitching it with the number of threads that they call for. So a lot of the background is stitched with 4 or 3 or 5 strands of fluff, and I'm using that where it's called for. And then all of the stitching in her and her hair, that's just 2 strands full cross. But with Woodland Enchantress, I'm about 30% of the way through, and I started her on Christmas Day 2023, so December 25th, 2023. So she will be 2 years old this Christmas. So she's got to get some more progress to get the new one.
Can't wait.
Okay. Next 4, which is probably also a fancy lady, huh?
Yes. Lakapati.
Lakapati. This is another one by Bella Filipina, so we'll put a picture of what she's going to look like in here. And this one is a little bit hard to show. I'm going to try to install this a little bit just so you can see more of what I've completed so far. But this is Lakapati. I'll just kind of scroll her up so you can see. That's as far as I got on her dress. So, do you want to talk about Lakapati, or is it pretty much the same?
Same thing.
Yeah.
I think women in dresses just don't do it for me. Even if it was like, sometimes you see these things in stores of like design sketches, ladies in 1950s ball gowns and that kind of stuff, or they just aren't for me. So
That's fair. Yeah, I just love the fancy ladies, so they're gonna keep coming.
though there are those fancy ladies that I think are hilarious. And
Oh yeah, that's true. They're like
curious to see.
they're like ironic fancy ladies. I
Yeah.
think they're, well, not ironic. I'm sure when they were designed, they were meant to be beautiful and fancy. I think that the designer's name is John Clayton, and I do have a few patterns of like the guys that he did, but we've seen some crazy patterns of the women that he's done. Just a different style of woman. But yeah, so this is Lakapati. I don't have a percentage on her because I'm stitching from a paper pattern. I'm using a 32 count haystack Lugana by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I'm hoping that when I get to all the beads, the 32 count is not going to be too tight. It's been fine so far, but there's a lot of beads in her, so we'll see. And I started this on September.
What else is supposed to go on there?
2024, so she's also coming up on her 1 year mark. But I've got a lot done on her for 1 year, and yeah, we'll keep working on her. So that's Lakapati. So how many of these fancy ladies would have you actually wanted to rank as a 5? Like, would you just say all fancy ladies would actually be a 5 for you, or you put them in 4s because you still like them better than the other projects?
I think I still like them better than the other project. The Bee Queen, again, she really bugs me. So, and they have a stronger presence than the Bee Queen to me. So at
That's
least
fair.
there's something more to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you guess what the next one is then?
I'm trying to think what fancy lady they had left. Celtic Autumn?
Oh.
I guess not. Or then maybe The Kiss?
The Kiss.
Okay, so The Kiss, let me see if I have a picture of this. Yeah. So here is what The Kiss is going to look like in the end. This is from Mirabilia. And let me grab the scroll frame. And here's where I'm at so far. So I've worked tirelessly on this section up here to get all of the skin completed, which is done 1 over 1. And all of that background scene is full coverage. As a matter of fact, from about halfway, about quarter of the way up this piece, all the way to the top, it's full coverage. There's not any stitches missing. So this is a very big piece. I am about 38% of the way through. I still have about 20,000 stitches to do on this one. So I'm not close to finish, but I have gotten a lot done. I'm not going to roll this scroll frame up, but I do have a large chunk of a section of her dress done. I started in the middle on this piece, and so I have a lot of the dress done, and then I sort of worked my way over to this border and all the way up to the top so that I could just work top down. But yeah, you want to talk to me about the kiss, or is it pretty much the same as
Same thing. The drama. It's just it's so dramatic.
I love it.
And it reminds me of a romance novel cover.
Totally.
And yeah, I just kind of see it in someone's grandma's house, not in like a fun, cool way. I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah, so this is the kiss. Let me pull the stats on her. So this is a 32-count apple blossom from Witchelt. It's a linen, and I started her on January 15th, 2024. So she is just over a year old, and probably will linger for multiple years to come because I'm not near being done yet. But I do really enjoy stitching on her. It's been really fun to see their faces sort of come to life a little bit, and I really love the charting in this. Norfolk has done such a great job of charting their faces and with the back stitching and everything. They really look beautiful. So the next time I pull this out, I'll just keep working on his sort of jacket and shirt here, and then I'll get more of the flowers and the rest is done. The kiss.
Maybe this should be our couple's costume for Halloween.
The kid.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be who? Okay. Any more fours?
No, I think that's it.
That's it for the fours? Okay, so I guess Celtic Autumn made it out of the fancy lady 4
She did.
category. We'll see where she ends up.
She ended up at number 3. I'll start with her.
Okay, we'll start with her. So Celtic Autumn. This is a piece from Norfolk's mom, who did Lavender and Lace. And I'll put a picture up here of what she is going to look like. And then I'll also put a picture up here of what my color conversion looks like. Well, not mine, but I'm using Janet Granger's Autumn conversion, which I thought the colors were much more autumny than what the original was. So yeah, here is my progress so far on Celtic Autumn. The last time I worked on her face and getting her skin done there and her face backstitch. And I also brought this side border all the way down. So that's my progress so far. So what made her stand out from the other sort of fancy ladies?
I really like the colors.
Okay.
And I think this one to me looks like something that I could actually see being done at a certain time. Like it feels very, I don't know, medieval. And I can see this hanging in someone's castle. Like someone might have actually done this back in the medieval times.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it works for me. Again, not one that I would choose to do, so this is the food category, but she definitely, to me, is a step above the other fancy ones.
Well, that's good. Then you won't mind spring and summer and winter.
Yeah, like these I can see up in the house in the appropriate times. There's no like autumn/winter one.
No, it's true. They all would have their designated season and then they would go away.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember from the very first video I posted, my very first floss tube, I went through some of the haul I had, and one of the hauls that I had was all of these patterns. So I do have all 4 seasons, and I also have the Christmas one. But autumn is just the first one that I started because I also love the colors, especially with this conversion. It screamed autumn much more than the original colors did. This one also has a lot of petite treasure braid in it. I'm not sure how much that is coming through in the camera, but there's a lot of sparkle and shine to this. And then there's also a lot of beads, so that will go in towards the end. But I am just about ready to get down to her dress. So I think I've got a little bit more of her neck to do here, and then her dress will start, which I'm really excited about because so far, a lot of times what I love about Fancy Ladies is the block stitching in the dress. It just flows so seamlessly from color to color. That's kind of where I'm at with Lacropati at the moment. But with this piece, there's just been so many different motifs that I'm not. It doesn't feel like I've been stitching a fancy lady so far on this, which has been fun. I have really enjoyed that, but I am ready to get to the heart of the piece as well. So, Celtic Autumn, I am about 22% complete on her. I am stitching her on. Here we go, from Lavender Lace, a 28 count light hazelnut from XJ Designs, and I started her on November 20th, 2024. So she is about to come up on her year mark, but she'll probably come out again this autumn, I hope, and I can make some good progress. Okay, so that's the first three. I don't think I know what any of the other three will be now because all of the fancy ladies are done, I think. Okay.
So there's Put a Bird on It.
Ooh, Put a Bird on It, okay. You all know Put a Bird on It because I've been stitching on this a lot this year. And this is also for the Put a Bird on It Sal, hosted by Shelia and EJ from the Sunshine Stitchers. Here is a picture of what this Quaker looks like in the end, except my colors are completely different. And yeah, so I'll show you where I'm at now. I am about 78% complete on this piece. So this will definitely be a finish this year. At least that's the goal. But here is where I'm at so far.
This one's really pretty.
Alright, tell me about this one.
I don't know. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I like all the stitching. I like the pattern. I don't know why, just when comparing it to the other ones, it didn't really excite me as much. But that's all I have to really say about it.
Yeah. That's fair. It's funny that you say you like the stitching because I feel like this is probably the piece where my stitching looks the worst. Just because this fabric is so hard to stitch on. It is so stretchy. This was just a fabric from Stash. I think it's well, I'll pull the notes a little bit later, but it's really difficult to stitch on. The fabric just kind of moves every time that you're stitching. You can see the way it's like rolled up like this, how it doesn't hold its form at all. It just wants to like roll up on itself. And because of that, because I'm using also 2 strands of the Stitch Me silk, which I love, by the way, but using 2 strands of it on this fabric is just not great. And so I don't think my stitches look the neatest. You can maybe kind of see here. But when you're looking at it from afar, I think it looks really, really good. I'm definitely happy with the colors, which you helped me sort of pick. We had a number of different yellows that we were looking at to see which one we might want to work with on this green fabric. I kind of had the idea of stitching yellow on green and brought the green fabric to you, and we kind of picked out a few different yellows, and then once they arrived, we picked out which one would be the best. I do really like this yellow because it's got a lot of good variegation in it, where you can really see the sort of sections of darker brown, sections of light pale yellow, and yet that punchy yellow really kind of brings it all together. So yeah, it's really good. Like I said, I'm 78% through, so I just have a couple more motifs here at the bottom to go. This right here is the very bottom of the piece. So I think I've got 3 more Quaker motifs here, and then I have to put my initials in and 1 more bird motif there. But I can see what this fabric count was now. This is from Modern Folk Embroidery, if I didn't say that. This is a 32 count tartan green linen, and I started this on February 5th, 2025. So the SAL actually started in December of last year, so I was a couple months late on the SAL. But I think so far I'm still caught up to where I need to be. But I am going to pull this out to get the last 3,000 stitches in if I want to do that by the end of the year. So that's that one. Okay, what's the next 3?
The next one. Slumber Party.
Okay. Slumber Party is one that I just had you vote on in the last round. That you picked Heirloom Bear, but Slumber Party was the other option. I think I've got a picture of what the whole thing is going to look like here. It's this.
Right, so that's that tiny piece I had. I wasn't sure if I was gonna need. I don't remember where I put it now.
Sampler. That's what the final piece will look like. And here is where I am. So I do have the entire bottom section of the house frame complete. I started on the word slumber up at the top, but obviously I've got a lot more of that top border to go. The moon is coming along though. I think I worked on that in the last couple of challenges that had me pull this out, and I think that's looking pretty good. And I've got a few of the motifs done. I've got the welcome invitation, the bunny slippers, this little clock, and I started on the mirror or situation. So yeah, tell me about this one.
That's not the right piece.
It's in the middle of the rankings because I think it's very cute, and I love the 90s, and I love sort of, especially like girl things from the 90s, like Lisa Frank, all that fun stuff, Barbie colors.
Yeah.
I think I would like it more if it was on different colored fabric.
Okay.
And it's also a little bit too busy for me, so I
Okay.
think it just kind of feels like clutter.
Okay.
So that's why it's where it is.
I wish I would have known about the fabric because it's not the easiest to stitch on black fabric. Let me see what it is that I'm stitching on. Slumber Party this is an 18 count black Aida. Again, this is from Sewing Starfish. The black Aida is just like a normal Aida from 123 Stitch. I started it on March 12th, 2024. So this one also is over a year old, and I haven't just been called to pull this out recently. I haven't stitched on it in a while. I think maybe since the end of like November or the end of the year last year. Maybe in January I stitched on it a little bit for one of the challenges, but just haven't been called to pull this back out. So this is another piece. I said this about the lighthouse, but if there were pieces that I might just UFO or not finish, this might be one of them, only because I don't find myself being drawn to it, and it is really harder to stitch on black Aida. However, I'm not ready to do that yet. I want to get this out again and start stitching on it and see if I still do enjoy it or not, and then make a decision from there. But I've got so much of the frame done, it's like it feels like such a waste to let it go now. But that is Slumber Party. Okay, what's the next three we've got? It's good that we're getting closer to the ones and not saving these for the end, because I would be sad if this was like the end of the video. At least I know we have good things coming.
Okay, this one is Black Roses.
Black Roses. Okay, this is my beaded piece, and this is from All Forced Embroidery. And here's what this is going to look like in the end. I love it. And I was just working on this today, so I actually have some additional progress to show from my last video. As you know, this was my whip code call for July to get in 1,000 beads, and I'm now at 750 beads of that call, so I have 250 left to go. But the last thing I added was this vine here. I brought this all the way down to the bottom. The exciting part about this now is the castle is the next thing right here. So the center of the castle is right here, and that is the center of the piece as well. So I actually think I have way too much fabric. I guess I was thinking I needed more than I did. But anyway, castle starts there. There's another like sort of peak of the castle that goes in here, and then I started this sort of rose at the bottom as well. But this I'm doing in all delicate beads, mostly black, and then sort of a purpley metallic with the red. So, tell me about it.
I think the beading is amazing. And again, it's the queen or the lady, like, throwing in there.
She's so small though compared to everything else.
I know, but I think without her, it gives it, like I could see it being a really cool gothic piece. But then once she's in there, she sort of adds a kind of cartoonish layer to it that I'm not fond of. And that's why it's not my favorite piece.
It's kind of a appealing to you, even though.
Yeah. She's also
so small.
I
She's
know,
like
but
such
she's
a...
just sort of like a little cartoon character in there. That
Let me just pull up the piece again so we can all see what we're talking about. So she's down there at the bottom, and there she is.
yeah, I just think it would be much better without her.
So you would like it better if I just stopped it right at the bottom of the castle and just cut out her head? and
No, you
stitch
can have
like
all the
the-
flowers down there. I just don't think she needs to be in there.
Well, then what would you put there?
Oh, more flowers or something. Just more motif.
Well, I mean, that would definitely limit the number of beads if I just had to stitch to the bottom of the castle.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe I could just do the bottom of the castle and then this bottom row of roses underneath.
Yeah, you could do
Just
that too.
as like the final border under the castle. That would be interesting. Definitely cut out the number of beads I would have to do. The other thing with her is I was thinking of
Hello.
doing her in all red beads, which would have made her pop even more on the piece. So probably something you would like even less.
Let's not bring more attention.
The good thing is I have so many more beads until I get to that point, so I guess I've got time to decide. But this is one, no matter what, I will definitely want hanging somewhere, even if it's just for me to see, because I really do like it. And I
This
like
would be a
the
really
beads.
cool Halloween piece.
Except there's really nothing Halloween-y about it.
Well, it's all black and she's got a crow or something on her.
She does have a bird. I don't think that's I don't know if that's a crow. Is that a
It
crow?
reminds me of a crow. I mean, she looks
It
like
could be a
evil
crow.
queen with a
She
bird.
definitely is an evil queen. Maybe
Yeah.
it is a crow, but it looks more like just a regular bird to me.
And then it's like gothic architecture and
Yeah.
black roses. It's very Halloween.
How's it going?
It's not really Halloween.
Well,
I guess they kind of
it's
go
not like
together, anyway.
it's not spring.
True. So, black roses, let me just pull up the stats on this. If I can find it, here we go. So this is from Alforce Embroidery, like I said. A 32 count antique white even weave is what I'm using, and this was my New Year, New Start on January 1st, 2025 of this year. So this will be around for a while, and basically I love to pull this out whenever I'm just in the mood to bead. It's very therapeutic once I can get in that zone of just beading, but I've got a sort of a dedicated time to get it done. So
I love seeing all that.
it is really fun, and in camera it's really hard to capture the purples that are coming through. Maybe you can see a little bit, but the roses
I see
are
that
all
getting
that
knocked off
sparkly
multiple
metallic.
times before this is
The
finished.
vines are all the black beads, but they all sparkle and shine a little bit. So that's black roses. Alright, we're back. We took a quick little water break and went to this again, but I think we're still in the threes, right?
No, we've moved on.
Oh, we're out of the threes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're into the number twos now. So we're getting closer to the number one category. These are ones that are not his favorite category, but second favorite. I guess.
Yeah.
So let's the first two.
French rose.
French rosé, yeah. This one is from Running with Needles and Scissors. The pattern is just over there, but I will try to pop a picture in here of what this is going to look like. And I guess that doesn't really matter because mine looks completely different from what the original does. But here is where I'm at. So I'm stitching this tone on tone. I've also made some progress on this since the last time you would have seen it. So I made it all the way to the end of the alphabet on the first row and got the P and the Q in on the second row. Speaking of the P and the Q, it was fun because they're mirror images of each other, which is pretty cool. So it's the same exact design for P and Q, but just the reverse image of it. Anyway, I also worked a little bit on the bottom border here, so I'm getting closer to being able to connect that. But yeah, okay, so tell me about this one.
I love the pattern. I like that it's very old-fashioned. Looks like something Marie Antoinette would have done or something. I would not have chosen this fabric for it. So I think I would like it more if it was on sort of the original fabric that I called for, or something pinky pastel, light spring colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why this one is not my top
So this is 40 count curtain call by Lap and Loops. That's the fabric. And when we measured it, it's actually probably about a 43 count. It definitely shrunk in the dyeing process. And I'm using the Almond M&M's silks in the colorway Velvet Rouge. So this sort of tone-on-tone effect. The two colors just kind of really blend into each other pretty nicely for what I was hoping for. I'm stitching this from a paper pattern, so I don't have the percentage, but that's all the bigger the piece is. So it's just a matter of filling in the big rows in the center and the other motifs, and figuring out if or what any changes I want to make are. So that is a French rose or French rosé.
We still don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The pattern has, what's that called? An asterisk?
An accent.
An accent. A tilde?
No.
Whatever that's called, where you put it above the E to make it rosé. That's what it has on the pattern. But I don't know if it's supposed to be rosé or if it's supposed to be just a French rose. Anyway. Okay, next, number 2. Halloween Quaker. Okay. This is a piece by Leela Studio. This is what it looks like in the end. Leela Studio modern Quakers. And then here is the piece. You've seen this fairly recently, because I've been working on this more recently, but yeah, okay, so tell me about this one.
I think it's fun. I like the Quakers, and I like that. I like that they've added some sort of fun, more modern elements to it. I don't know. Maybe not my one I would do for Halloween or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'm not a fan of these little boots.
Okay.
I don't know.
So there's like
Just-
particular
Yeah,
motifs
there's
that
things that I'm just like, oh, okay, it's not my favorite, but
that makes
yeah.
sense. I love these Quakers, as you know. I think they're super fun, and they do add like different elements that you don't normally see in Quaker pieces, like bird leaves.
This thing is not
Even
gonna
these
stay
little
on.
pumpkin heads in this little section here.
I'm gonna have to
It's all
go
just
do that at some point.
fun. I really like it. You ever get done, Winston? So this is stitched on a 40 count Seraphim, 40 count Haunted by Seraphim Fabrics, and I'm using the Vicki Clayton silk conversion. So I'm using all the silks from her pack, and then that's one strand over 2. And I think I forgot to say on the last piece as well, but French Rose was started. Actually, at StitchCon this year with my table mates, so that was our table style. We all started the same piece. We all sort of did it tone on tone.
Why do I
So
feel like
started
this
that
is
on
not in the
June
right
15th,
spot?
2025, and then Halloween Quaker, that was started on July 31st, 2024. So it's coming up on its 1-year mark as well.
What is where it's showing it? Where is it supposed to connect to?
That piece. All right, so what's the next number 2? I bet Autumn Quaker is also in the number 2 category. Or maybe that made it into the top.
We'll have to find out.
Okay, we'll wait and see. What's another number 2?
Another number 2. What's the movie? Santa's House.
Santa's House. Okay, this one is exciting. I don't even need
Yeah, it's a little weird.
to show you because I actually just finished this. So when I gave him my list of all my whips, this was still a whip. But because I've been working on it so much lately, this is a very recent finish that I just showed in my last Blossom episode. But this is
I get where it's supposed to go around, but where is that
finish.
piece hanging off supposed to go?
Closer for you. This is stitched on a 36 count stone by Fiber on the Wing. And I'm using all the called for DMC, and there are 2 fancy flosses. One is the variegated floss in the gray in the roof, and the other is the red variegated floss in the house here. So tell me about this one.
Okay, is there supposed to be another piece up there?
Christmas, but I think it doesn't excite me to see what the other houses are going to look like, and maybe as a big piece. houses, but by itself, it's not one that I would choose to do.
I love that we're still getting, but this doesn't excite me in the number 2 category. I thought by now we'd have more pieces that he would be liking.
No, I like it. It just
Uh-huh.
doesn't excite me as much as the number ones.
Yeah, so that's Santa's house. This was.
I will explain it.
This one.
It's missing a piece.
This was started.
It's this piece.
Oh, there we go. December 15th of 2024. I worked on this.
Where does it go
last year
though?
during my Flossmas videos. And again, 36 count stone by fiber on wood. So, and I finished this on July 20th, 2025. And again, like he said, I am going to be doing all the cottage garden samplings pieces, the houses on this fabric. The one I'm switching out is the greenhouse.
I guess that's the only place they can go.
But they will all be on this one piece of fabric. So now that I have this one done, I can either go to the house that I chose that's kind of like November-y over here, or I can go above this one and then kind of go from there. Okay, next up, what's the next number 2?
The next number 2. The pancakes.
Pancakes, okay. This is a piece that I got on Etsy from Sammy Stitch's store. And let me show you what these look like. And I'm stitching mine on black fabric. I do have a little bit more progress on this since the last video I showed, because this is down in my temperature stitching to make some progress there. And so since you last saw it, I was able to fully complete this diagonal here. So I brought all those down here, stitched in all those threads. And as you can see, I've got even more of our threads to go here. So yeah, this is a stack of pancakes. So talk to me about this one.
I love the pancakes, and I love sort of pictures of food and realism. And yeah, I think it's a fun piece. It's one that I could see definitely hanging in the house. I think for me, it was not in the number 1s because I might have chosen a different color fabric for it. But maybe just a cream color, I don't know. But that's all it is.
He loves his beiges.
I did.
For his cross stitch pieces,
Yes.
all the flosses are beige or brown.
Yeah.
The fabrics are beige and brown. That's what
It's true.
his style
Yeah.
is. And I love that too. I really like how this is popping.
Yeah.
Winston. Winston likes it too. I really like how this is standing out on the black fabric though. I think it really kind of makes it pop a little bit more. In my head when I
My
started
guess
to
is
do
that
this, 'cause you have a
probably sits down in there.
Is it a painting or it's a print of a painting?
It's a print of a painting.
Print of a painting in our sort of living room kitchen space that is just a pile of donuts, and it's got like a black background, and then the donuts kind of stand out in front of it. And so when I saw this piece, I was like, "Ooh, this kind of looks like the donuts." You know, we have breakfast theme going, and I do really like how this is coming out. This piece is not easy to stitch on. As you can see, there are just so many color changes in here. I think that's what really gives it the effect where you're able to kind of see the individual stacks of the pancakes. You're able to see the syrup sort of running down the side, running down here. You're able to see the butter kind of melting on the top. It all really works, but it is not an easy piece to stitch. I think as a whole, it's only about 10,000 stitches, and I am at 58%. So I've got 4,000 left to go. The temperature stitching challenge will get it another almost 2,000. So I will be getting close to a finish on this, which is good because it's probably, I think it's over a year old by now. Stack of pancakes is on a 20 count.
Oh, wait, I gotta do more. I gotta do another one on the other side.
24, so definitely over a year. The 20 count black Ada makes it difficult because I am still stitching this with 2 strands of thread because I really wanted that full coverage look. Even in the white, you can see some of the black behind it, but it's actually pretty good in person, the coverage that I'm getting. But 2 strands on 20 count is very tight. It just makes for very full stitching. So yeah, that is stack of pancakes. All right, what's the next number 2?
Wow, I'm gonna be shocked.
Shocked. The big reveal. What is it?
Amazing Circus.
Amazing Circus. Okay. So this is a piece. I probably didn't expect this to be so high on the list.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I didn't expect this to be a number 1 for you. Is that what you thought I would?
I guess. Why would you not expect it to be?
I don't know. I just thought it wouldn't be your type of piece.
It's not.
He's now that I'm pulling up the full image, he's rethinking his number 2.
No, it's still a number 2
category.
for me.
So this is the Amazing Circus. This is my only Heaven and Earth design piece that I've got right now. This is by Amy Stewart. It's a gigantic piece, and it's just got all of these different shelves of circus-themed motifs here. It's very busy, and I don't have a lot done on this. I'm only 2,000 stitches in, and that is 0.3%. So you'll see that this fabric is huge. Can really fit in. But I'm only up here in the tiny little corner. Here, so you're starting to see a little bit of this trapeze artist's legs here in the green.
Okay, why do those all have red
green
bird sandwiches
section,
in it?
and you're seeing the curtain in the background there.
Because it's telling me I just need that one with one hanging off.
But since I've been working on my Carolyn Manning and I've gotten back
So
to
it's
the
telling me
Sour
don't
Pancakes,
mistakenly do
I
those
really
ones.
do want to get back to this. I also am excited because I now have a better setup for kind of stitching on smaller pieces like this. This is a 28 count gridded
Smaller pieces.
well, smaller count fabric, I should say. Bigger pieces, but smaller count fabric, because I now have a magnifying light that I can use, and I think that's going to make it a lot easier for me to stitch on this. And I also want to try the diagonal method with this, because I've really been enjoying that in the other pieces that I've been stitching. So far I've just been picking in the color and just
Try
running
to knock that off.
until I'm out of breath, and then going back up to a new color. But I want to try the different method to see if that kind of reinvigorates my joy of stitching this piece. But yeah, so talk to me about this one. I guess I'll hold up the whole picture while you're talking, because you can't really see much.
I think it's gonna look amazing when it's finished. I keep saying amazing. It's gonna look incredible. Like, I can't believe you started this piece, and I can't wait to see it in 4 years.
Yeah. Which it will take 4 years. Because, again, this is the full piece, and I am just way up here. Way up here in his little, oops. Sorry about that. In his little legs. So that's the green that you're seeing. So I've got other ways to go.
Yeah.
But, okay, sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I think it's really fun. Circus is not my thing. It's number 2. And it's pretty busy.
Oh, it's very busy.
But it's still fun.
There's not like a blank space on this.
But again, it's just one that I don't know where it would go. And it's gonna be so big. I'm like, where does this go? Above the couch?
It
But like above.
It is going to be big, because it will fit in this gigantic piece. And because I'm stitching it on 28 count, this is kind of like the smallest that it could be. I guess I could stitch it on 32 count, but that would be even harder. So, yeah. It'll go
Of course it's going somewhere. Like, it's, I'm not saying it's not going up, but yeah. I would like to see the other patterns from this designer too.
That's fair, yeah. Amy Stewart is an artist that a lot of people stitch her sort of shelves like this.
Mm-hmm.
She's got an Animal Kingdom one, which has shelves of all the different animals and different like ecosystems. She's got a stitching one where each shelf is a different stitching
I think
theme.
I remember seeing that.
She's got a fantasy one where it's kind of like scenes from, like Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty or princesses. So a lot of people are stitching on some sort of shelf of hers. I don't think I've seen anyone stitching on the circus one yet, and I think I was just kind of drawn to all the circusy themes.
This would be a good piece in the library
Yeah,
with books
totally.
with the bear. With the heirloom bear.
Oh,
And the Egyptian social studies book.
So what we decided is that we just need a house now where we have
Yeah.
a separate room that's a library, and then I can decorate the library with my cross stitch.
Mhm.
Okay, that's fine. Fair enough. Okay, any more number 2s?
That might be it.
That's it? So now we're gonna jump into his top category, the number ones.
Mhm.
But here he has ranked them from, I guess, the lowest of the number ones to his very most favorite piece. So now we will start ranking them up to number one. So at this point, how many number ones are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's 5 number ones. Okay, so let's start with number 5 and see. Yeah, then we'll work our way.
Number 5 is Autumn is as Joyful.
Okay. Autumn is Joyful is the letter picker from the Blue Studio.
Tell you, that thing is not gonna stay on.
And that's what it's going to look like here. Yeah, who was the other Quaker?
Or what was the other Quaker?
That was Halloween Quaker.
Halloween Quaker.
But by the same
Okay, same
designer.
designer.
And she again has one for each season
Mm-hmm.
that I have and do want to start at some
Mhm.
point. And my goal would eventually be to like switch them out in the seasons to have them hanging somewhere. But
Yeah.
here is my progress so far. I'll just pull the bottom down a little bit. On Halloween, or sorry, Autumn is Joyful. This again is stitched on a 40 count. This is Winter's Brew by R&R Reproductions. And again, I'm using the Vicky Clayton silk pack conversion, which is what I'm going to do for all of the Quakers. So they'll all be on 40 count, all using Vicky Clayton silks, and I can just kind of switch them out. The last time I worked on this, I added in this little kind of wolf in the forest motif, and I finished this big Quaker motif there. I'm really loving the colors. I love working with the silks, and this one is definitely one of my favorites as well. Talk to me about this one.
I love the colors because of browns and
Yeah, this is his vibe.
it's my vibe.
A few little oranges
yeah.
and greens, but they're okay in this case.
And I like that this feels like it could be from a certain time, like maybe the 70s or something. So I can place it there. It's definitely one that I could see up on the wall in the fall. And I like it more than the Halloween one because it's not as sort of cartoonish. So though the Halloween one is fun and like spooky in a way, I think this one is just more me.
Yeah.
So that's why it made it to the top.
Cool. Yeah, I love
I think
these.
it's gonna look really good.
I love these Quakers. I hope to do them all someday. But Autumn is Joyful. Like I said, this is stitched on. I started this back in September 22nd, 2024. So it's just coming up on a year of stitching, and I am 21.36%. So I'm actually making pretty good progress on this. For not having pulled it out on a regular basis, just kind of little bits here and there. But I do really enjoy stitching on it. I can't wait to have these sort of completed. But I don't have summer or spring started yet, but they are both kitted and waiting to be started. And then she just released her winter Quaker at market in the spring, and so I don't have that one kitted or the pattern yet, but eventually that will be added to my stash too. So that's Autumn is Joyful. All right, so that was number 5. What is number 4?
Fruits of Plenty.
Fruits of Plenty. I feel like I don't even need to show this one because I've been working on it nonstop for my hashtag Whip Into Shape challenge. But here is what the Fruits of Plenty is going to look like. And this is a piece that so many people have stitched, and Jacob just did an incredible job designing this piece. So no wonder everybody wants to stitch it. So, let me find Fruits of Plenty. Okay, here is where I'm at with Fruits of Plenty. So I am about, 52% of the way done with this piece. So I think the center line is somewhere about here in the middle of these motifs here. And then there's another section of this band of full coverage stitching that goes kind of mirrored down below. This is how far I am. So talk to me about this one.
I love this piece. It's one that I can see in so many different places. I think it's busy enough, but not. It doesn't.
Really, I didn't even do anything.
That's a good thing.
So
Hear that, Jacob?
so
It doesn't make a difference.
So it's pretty. I don't know. I just love it. It sort of feels like something like it could be a
I don't know what happened there now.
tapestry or hanging somewhere in the grand hall, or it could also be, I don't know, something pretty in someone's kitchen.
Are you happy with the greens? I know when I first started this project,
It says it's locked. Does that mean you can't see it, or I'm so confused?
I knew I loved the piece.
I don't know why I
knew
did
wanted to
that.
Stitch it, and I just could not decide on what colorway I wanted to go with. And so he helped me narrow it down to a couple different ones, and I said, like, I don't think we can go wrong with any of these choices. But what do you feel
No,
about
I like the greens a lot. I also like the original blue, but
that was sort of like my big debate. Do I switch it up, or do I just go with what?
but I like
originally did?
the greens.
Cool. And with this piece, I am thinking of sort of changing it a little bit. So there are initials that go in right here on either side. And I think I'm going to put an A on one side for me and an A on the other side for him. And then there are a couple different options of motifs that you can put in these center squares here. It was charted with a tree on the top and then a house on the bottom. I'm going to switch out the house, I think, for the Japanese house that he has charted as an option. And I'm still deciding about the tree on the top. I'm still kind of talking it through, going to get his opinion as well. And we'll kind of make this a little piece for us as well. So
I don't know if you can see that or not.
A and A for us.
So romantic.
So romantic.
Just like the kiss.
But yeah, that's for
Which is really sweet of you. I love that idea. And I can't wait to see it finished. So I can't wait to see all of it finished. Even the beat.
Yeah, I'm excited about this too. This is stitched on a 32 count smoky white, I think it's called antique smoky white linen. Has charted as an option. Changing.
Hanging somewhere in a grand hall or
And Jacob just did an incredible. I don't have summer or spring started yet, but they are both kitted and waiting to be started. And then she just released her winter Quaker at market in the spring, and so I don't have that one kitted or the pattern yet, but eventually that will be added to my stash too. That's Autumn is Joyful. All right, so that was number 5. What is number 4?
Fruits of Plenty.
Fruits of Plenty. I feel like I don't even need to show this one because I've been working on it nonstop for my hashtag Whip Into Shape challenge. But here is what the Fruits of Plenty is going to look like. And this is a piece that so many people have stitched, and Jacob just did an incredible job designing this piece. It's no wonder everybody wants to stitch it. So, let me find Fruits of Plenty. Okay, here is where I'm at with Fruits of Plenty. So I am about, 52% of the way down this piece. So I think the center line is somewhere about here in the middle of these motifs here. And then there's another section of this like band of full coverage stitching that goes kind of mirrored down below. But yeah, this is how far I am so far. So talk to me about this one.
I love this piece. It's one that I can see in so many different places. I think it's busy in that, but not. It doesn't make me dizzy when I look at it. So,
That's a good thing.
So,
Yeah, Jacob, it doesn't make a difference.
So it's pretty. I don't know. I just love it. It sort of feels like something like it could be a tapestry or hanging somewhere in a grand hall, or it could also be, I don't know, something pretty in someone's kitchen.
Yeah.
So,
Are you happy with the greens? I know when I first started this project, I probably showed him about 20 different colorways in this project because I knew I loved the piece, I knew I wanted to stitch it, and I just could not decide on what colorway I wanted to go with. And so he helped me narrow it down to a couple different ones, and then said, like, I don't think you can go wrong with any of these choices. But what do you feel about the greens?
I like the greens a lot. I also like the original blue, but
that was sort of like my big debate. Do I switch it up or do I just go with what?
But I like the green.
Cool. And with this piece, I am thinking of sort of changing it a little bit. So there are initials that go in right here on either side. And I think I'm going to put an A on one side for me and an A on the other side for him. And then there are a couple different options of motifs that you can put in these center squares here. It was charted with a tree on the top and then a house on the bottom. I'm going to switch out the house, I think, for the Japanese house that he has charted as an option. And I'm still deciding about the tree on the top. We're still kind of talking it through. I'm going to get his opinions as well. And, but we'll kind of make this a little piece for us as well. So we'll have both of our A and A for us.
So romantic.
So, just like the kids. But yeah, that's
Which is really sweet of you. I love that idea. And I can't wait to see this one. But I can't wait to see all of it finished. Even the queen.
Yeah, I'm excited about this too. This is stitched on a 32 count smoky white, I think it's called antique smoky white linen, and I'm using DNC colors 2 strands over 2, and that's why it's so big because it's on 32 counts. But I really like the size. I think it's going to be a really good piece to have on the wall someday. So you're going to keep seeing this a lot because I'm stitching for the Winter Challenge and really making some good progress. So we'll keep going. But I think I said 52% of the way through. I've got 22,000 more stitches to do. Okay, so that is number 4. So number 3. Getting down to the wire here, top 3.
Number 3 is the queen bee.
The queen bee. Wow, this made it high on your list, and I am not very far on this one. Okay, so this is a piece from Tilton Crafts. It's called Beyonce at the Grammys, and this is a rendering of what this is going to look like. And I started in the very center, so I started at her hand right here. And I have not stitched on this in a while, just because it hasn't been called yet this year. But here is my start on it. And I think the hand is looking great, to be honest. I think it looks really good. I was excited to get more of her chest done here, and the more I work on it, the more it really just shows. I think I've been kind of working on this all over the place, though, where, again, I take a strand and just kind of work it till it's done. So I don't know if I want to try to become more methodical about how I'm stitching this or not, but we'll see. And also, I chose to stitch this on black fabric, thinking that I wouldn't have to stitch the background. But as you'll see in the background and the bottom, there's a lot of like dark blues that kind of come out of the bottom to make it almost like a nighttime cosmic
Yeah,
space.
there's like stars up here too.
There's like stars up there, and there's definitely like a glow around her. So I actually don't know where I will end this piece. Like, do you?
I think you have to commit.
Just to doing it all, even the blue.
Yes.
Because black on black is not going to be fun to stitch.
I know. I can do that one for you.
The black on black.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, this isn't 14 count.
No, this
I
is
only stitch on 14 count.
this is a 28
I'm
count.
very
1
lazy.
over 1.
I don't know how you count.
You can see how tiny
No.
the stitches
I mean,
are.
I could try.
But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm at least going to finish all the gold parts of her, obviously. And then just kind of keep building it out and seeing how far I want to go. Even if I stitch most of the blues and just kind of don't stitch the black, maybe that would look okay. But
I am curious to know, like, is this stitching too.
Yeah.
This sort of aura around her.
Mhm.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, and all these hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to do that.
Yeah. So this is one I definitely need to get back to. But yeah, do we want to say anything else about
No.
this? I kind of
No, just that I love a diva, so that's why she's up here at the top.
I love a diva, not a fancy lady.
Yeah.
But yeah, Beyonce is great. I don't know that I'll ever finish her, honestly, because she is a very big piece. I am 3% complete, and I've still got 118,000 stitches to go. Beyonce, I started. This is, it's a 25 count black Lugana, not 28 count. But I started this on March 31st, 2024, and I don't think I've worked on it at all this year yet. So it's
What?
on my Whipco board, so it will come out at some point. I think actually this got called while I was in Florida, and I didn't have the piece with me in Florida, so that's why I switched it out for the bee queen instead of the queen bee. But, yeah, okay, so that's number 3. All right, we've got 2 left.
Number 2 is Saga.
Saga is number 2. Okay. Saga is another piece that you all know because I show this basically every week on my video. This is from Long Dog Samplers, and here is what this is going to look like. And I am about 42% of this piece. And here's our map. Alright, talk to me about this one.
I love the colors. I love the pattern. It is busy, but it's still kind of a quiet piece, I think, because it's all one color. So it's one that has all these different, for me, it's one that I can just sort of stare at and get lost in it and look at all the different sections. But it doesn't feel as crazy as like the circus one,
Yeah.
right?
I do think the arches sort of help to build it and focus your eye on different sections because as a whole piece, it does build on each other with the smaller arches as you go up. And then you can kind of look in each individual arch and see all the different motifs.
Right.
So it's not quite, it's still very busy like you said, but it's not crazy. I'm stitching this on a 36 count vintage country mocha with Silks for You PR207. And I think I also asked you about this color combination when I first
I think so.
started. But I'm really happy with how it's turning out, how the blue looks.
Yeah, I love this blue.
The fabric, and this is a piece I really enjoy stitching. It's just really fun. I really enjoy a monochromatic piece where you can just take the floss and kind of go with it. This is the latest section that I've worked on, and I think this is actually kind of new to what you're seeing because I've now filled in a few of these motifs in this arch here, which I don't think I had done last time. And I'm not sure of the story yet. We'll get to reading the story about this one, but to me, this looks like a flamingo pouring tea for some other sort of animal or bird there. So we'll get the story soon, but that's a little sneak peek.
Yeah, I love that there's sort of these very comical aspects to it, like this whale on a zebra, like you said, the flamingo.